Are you scamming people? All right, thank you. Let's see here. Yeah, 10 pretty straightforward questions about Spy Tomorrow. My name is Rosh, and I am the founder of spytomorrow.com, and I'm happy to answer these rather straightforward questions, and let's get into it. The first one, are you stupid for giving the prediction away for free? I don't think so. It was a business decision. Let's just be frank about it. It was a business decision, and it was about transparency. And quite honestly, I just didn't want people to think this was a black box that I was trying to create and get people in so I could get their money. I wanted them to really see what was happening. And if they felt like, look, there's more information available to help me trade this overnight signal, then they could pay for that if they wanted it. Otherwise, it's available for free. I created this 4 years ago for me to make money, to grow my portfolio for my retirement. And so honestly, I figured, why not help other people too? But there's a lot to keeping this website going, and so I figured I might as well charge for people who want the additional information and additional services. And so I don't mind giving it away for free. I'm not after everybody's money. Those who want more information, they can become members. Otherwise, enjoy. It'll probably always be free. All right. Is SPY T trading really the best use of the information you provide? Maybe not. I developed SPY T trading, which is really that ratio trade, 2-to-1 options ratio, SPY TA, SPY TB, SPY T, C, D, Q. All those are ratio trades. And they came out of necessity when we're developing this algorithm, especially like the switch. The switch, for those of you who don't know, there was a time, especially early on, I think it was the first year of algorithm development, I would find that, hey, the algorithm is running really well, like 80%, maybe even 85% correct. And then all of a sudden, bam, it switched. And now the ups were down and downs were up. And then maybe a week later, it switched again. And I said, what's going on? So this protected us from the switch using these ratio trades. And look, when the algorithm would fade, and so maybe it wasn't that 75%, maybe it dipped down to 55 or 65% correct, it helped us from losing all of our money, quite honestly. It minimized our losses, and it was a good way to go about it. But look, there are other ways to approach this. You can use stock. I mean, the disadvantage of options is obviously theta overnight. And you can use stocks, you can use leveraged ETFs. There's more than one way to go about it. And I know a number of people who use many of the different ways you can approach the market using this information. So all it is the information. Here's the pressure at the end of the trading day, which often correlates to how it might open tomorrow. Barring some great event, economic news, or news catastrophe or something, or political, that would change the whole market. Obviously, we can't control that, but it generally correlates pretty darn well. And so the question is, how would you use that information? I just share some ideas that have helped me, and if you can use them, great. Okay, where do you get your data? That I'm not really going to share. No, I mean, if you look through my videos, you'll probably see some hint of where I get my data. But ultimately, I think I've shared enough. I've spent 4 years on this algorithm. I share it for free. There's no reason that people have to refigure it out, because you're going to get exactly what I get. Again, I just have more algorithms to look at than the average person, or even members even have more information to look at, such as the confidence numbers, which I think is a really nice advantage. What is your biggest mistake? I think there are a few of them. One of my biggest mistakes was thinking I figured it out immediately. when I first saw this correlation to these numbers that I had worked out, and I saw that when they were positive, the market tend to open positive, and when they're negative, they tend to open negative. The market opened negative, and I thought, I got it, instant millionaire, right? This is it. And 4 years later, it took a good 3.5 years later to really hone this in. And I've had ups and downs along the way. And part of those ups and downs is not really considering the full reality of back testing. I would back test, and that's kind of how I created the heart. A year ago, I created the heart algorithm, and I took 81 of these best algorithm results, and I put them in a grid, and I said, okay, these are the best of the best, and whatever direction the heart goes, that if there's more positive, then it's going to be an up day. More negative, it's going to be a negative day. And I really thought a year ago that was going to be the way to go, and I did tout it pretty loudly. But ultimately, I still use it, but it just didn't work out. And a lot of that came from back testing all these numbers further back, because I keep the data. And that back testing, look, let's say you have 10 groups of numbers, and you back test it, and you look, oh, these 3 are the best. Well, those are the 3 that happen to be the best over the previous period, right? And so you can make a lot of assumptions that it might continue on moving forward. But that didn't always happen. And that was a true wake-up call for me. And that's why I like the current algorithm, because it's been doing so well in the wild. There's a little bit of back testing as I discovered some new approaches, but it's been going live and been working well live. It's not, it's not 113, 120 trades based on back testing. It's probably about 30 back tested and 70, 80 live in the wild. Big difference. There's a big difference there. And so that's why I think this is working out so well. My last one is just a trading thing, and that's doubling down. Doubling down when things go wrong, thinking, hey, I'm going to be right, and then doubling down and then losing more. So I would say if you're trading, don't double down. Just wait for the next trade. I think that is my biggest trading mistake. All right. Really, how accurate are your predictions? Well, they have on average, when the algorithms are running well, been 75%. And I've said that for a number of years, but they have faded. They rarely, if ever, went below 50%. When things were going bad, my algorithms were at 60%, maybe even 55% over, say, a 30-day period. And look, if I touted that, hey, I'm getting this right 60% of the time, that's a fair thing. I mean, that's something that a gambler or somebody who says, hey, I know how to, manage my money, that information is valuable. But it's been much higher on average. The current algorithm with about, as of this recording, about 113, 14 trades, it's 77, 78%. And I have a new variation of that only has about 38 trades under it, but it's sitting at 85%. And it's the same algorithm, it's just how I calculate and pull the numbers. It's a different way. So the current one that we use, it uses, say, it's 4 algorithms. Say one says 1.3 and the other one says minus 0.01 and the other one says 2, and you add them all up and that's your number. Whereas the newer one that's more accurate just accounts for the plus or minus. So if it's up, it's +1. If it's down, it's -1. And I have found in the past that has worked better as a calculation formula. And it is working better. So I kind of have a feeling that, over those 113 trades, if I'd used that other calculation, it would be closer to, if not over 80% correct. But I can't prove that because I don't have the full data set in the way that this would work. So I am where I am with this, and I'm pretty happy with where it's going, but I stand confident. 77%, 78%, and I think further in the new year we're going to be hitting in the 80s pretty consistently. It's always going to go up and down, volatility, news, so many factors. But I think overall, even if I just stand on 75% most of the time, we're good and we're all going to do well. All right. Are you scamming people? Do I think I'm scamming people? No, honestly, I know I am trying to do what some may consider the impossible. Totally get that. But this has always been a sincere effort. It started with an effort for my own portfolio. It became kind of like a game in the sense of I'm trying to figure out a puzzle. And it's been challenging. It's taken up a lot of my time. But I've always seen this correlation. I've always seen these numbers work. And I've always felt that it had value. And because it has value, obviously I should charge because of all the time I put into the website itself. Look, this is start off on spreadsheets, and I could just continue that. I don't have to put it out on a website. I didn't have to share any of this. But if I'm going to take the time and effort, obviously I need to charge. And I can see here that kind of leads to question number 7. How do you justify $100? How do you justify charging $100 for this? Some people will tell me specifically, that's too much money. And other people don't even care. It's nothing to them. And I've had people who've been members for a year and a half, and I've had members who stayed a good number of them only for a month, and many for 2-3 months. And I think a lot of that has to do with, look, some of the algorithms would start to fail, and I would start to lose people, and rightfully so. I blame nobody but me when it comes down to the fact that things started to fail and people started to fade away. But many stuck through and continued with the upgrades, and it's continued to work for them. It was good information that they would use in combination quite often with other types of information that's available out there for their type of trading. It was just another factor they would consider in their trades. Sometimes it was just, hey, do I sell today or tomorrow? Let's look at SPY tomorrow and see if, hey, tomorrow looks like it's going to be a down day. Maybe I should just sell now. That kind of information is valuable to some people. And $100, honestly, I thought I should charge more. Honestly, I thought I should charge more for it because I didn't want people to join unless they really knew. And I mentioned this, unless you know why you want to join. That's why giving it away for free allows people to test it out. And then after a period of time, now they know why. They know why they want to join. Not some guy on the internet is saying, hey, I can tell you 75% of the time how the market's going to open in the first half hour of the trading day the next day. Great. No, I want people to know that this is working for them before they join. And that's why I charge $100. I don't just want everybody coming in and giving me money when they don't even know why. I want people to think about that $100 each month. In sincerity, that's really why. And honestly, why I thought it should have been like $250, $500 in the beginning. But I probably couldn't justify it because I didn't have enough of a track record. I'm probably not going to increase the price, but as we get this track record well over 6 months plus with the current algorithm, I probably could justify it just fine. Honestly, that's the way I feel. All right. So just sharing some final thoughts. I created SPY Tomorrow for me. I used it to help grow my account. I thought it was the best option available. I still think it is. I want it to be the best option available for really understanding what could happen the next day as a guide. And I find that valuable, and I hope other people do too. But I'm not ready to declare victory yet, meaning that this algorithm is perfect. I'll declare victory when we get up to about 200 trades, and 150 of them are live trades. Remember, I was talking about backtesting and how that can be deceiving. You can just look and see which was the best pattern. Hey, that's the one, and now let's use that. And so I want it to be live and available to me and everyone else. And then when we get to 200 trades, I'm saying, okay, now it's got a track record in the wild. now I can declare victory. That's going to be in another 4 or 5 months. So we've got a little time ahead of us, but I feel pretty confident. And you know, I'm continuously tweaking and improving, but the core algorithm has not changed since the beginning of July. And even a little before that, I started using elements of what I'm doing now back in May of last year, after really the disaster, honest disaster of the heart algorithm, which it's not a total disaster because that's how the current confidence numbers are working. The confidence numbers are working out pretty well. If you're a 0 to 6 confidence number, the algorithm is 66% correct. If it's 8 or above, it's over 85% correct. So the confidence numbers the current ones came out of the heart algorithm. Each mistake that I've made, honestly, has helped me get to where I am now and where SPY tomorrow is now. So you can say that they're mistakes, and hey, I've done boneheaded things. I have not made every decision perfectly. Like, for example, the thing that really messed things up last spring. I was using AI. I thought I could apply some of my algorithms and combined it with AI. AI was horrible. AI did not do it very well. And so it ruined everything. I just started from scratch. And I took really some of the stuff that I'm doing with the hourly and half-hourly readings, which is something I offer inside the membership, is that you can get an hourly, half-hourly pressure reading. Well, using that as part of the end of the day pressure reading really made it a good pressure reading. And I'll tell you this, we take a pressure reading at 3 o'clock and then 3:48. And that is the pressure we're reading, which was not always the case before. It was usually just a number that we took a measurement of at the end of the trading day. And if that was up or down, well, then that was ultimately the signal, and often was correct and did pretty well. But like I said, some would fade and so forth. But this has been a solid pressure, and that's why I think this is working out so well. It really is a pressure reading, as I've called it from the beginning. So again, this will be about 4 or 5 months out, and I think that we're going to we'll let everyone know. Believe me, when we get to 200 trades, I will let everyone know. I promise you, nobody who cares will not have heard the fact that we have met our goal in trading with SPYtomorrow.com. Hey, thanks for the questions. I'll do this again. I'll see you in the next video.